Good morning and welcome to Zen Fits here in Blackstone, Virginia, the center of the world, where at first glance, at first experience, nothing fits. This was my first experience of Blackstone. I didn't fit. Then after 5 years of trying to get out of Blackstone, and I failed at it, I got a job writing for the newspaper, and suddenly everything fit. How about that? So let's talk about yesterday's topic, which I didn't get many views for on YouTube because the title of the talk, you don't need a flashlight to get to heaven. And I guess heaven scared everybody off. Well, this is some Christian trying to preach heaven or something. So let's go back to that. And the title of today's talk is, oh my God, it's a skull. Ugh, it's a skull. Oh God. We're going to talk about the flashlight mind and the two minds. Two ways of knowing. Awareness as and awareness of. Awareness as is like a lantern. It shows up everything. Awareness as is like flicking on the ceiling light and suddenly the whole room is illuminated. Awareness as is when everything is visible suddenly. Flashlight mind is only what you put your flashlight on is known. It's kind of like with photography. As a photographer, if you ever have lenses, there's a wide angle lens and there's a narrow focus lens, right? A zoom lens. You can zoom in and zoom right in on the tiniest things, like a bee. Or you can zoom back and see the whole garden in one view, the wide angle. In the wide angle, everything is in focus. But if you zoom in, zoom, 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 only what you zoom in on is focus and the rest of the background blurs, goes out of focus. And if you really zoom in, you can't tell where the object you're looking at is. It could be anywhere. Everything is blurred. So these are two lenses that are analogous to our mind. We have a wide-angle mind, and we have a narrow focus mind. We have an awareness as that sees the whole without discrimination. This is important. The wide-angle mind sees the whole situation without discriminating between one or another. It sees the whole. Everything is equal. Everything is in focus. But the moment you zoom in on something, now you have a discriminating mind, because you discriminate the object from the rest of the background you see. And then we evaluate that object, what it is. Oh, this is so-and-so. And then we can Google it. We can do a whole study on it. We can get all the books on this side. So you focus in on a robin, and the rest of the yard goes blurred. Now you want to study the robin, and everything is in Google on the robin. You can go to school and get a PhD on robins and spend your whole life describing, discussing, and teaching about robins. But you'll never know what the robin is until you see the robin in its context. So the robin is not separate from the garden. The robin and the garden are the same, but the wide-angle mind can see that. The wide-angle mind can see that the robin and the garden are the robin is one way of looking at the garden, and the garden is another way of looking at the robin. You can't separate them or you kill the robin. But the discriminating mind will zoom in on that, you see. So the title of this talk is, oh my God, it's a skull. Now, thanks to Prince Albert, this is backwards, Albert Lowe, call him Prince Albert, I have him in a can. So basically he teaches me, because I listen to his talks. He was the center leader. He was the teacher of the Montreal Zen Center for 20-some years, and he gave over 1,000 talks or teishos during sessions on Zen koans. So I know a lot about Zen koans through Albert Lowe. And Zen koans are everything. So there's one Zen koan that demonstrates this difference between the discriminating mind and the non-discriminating mind. Now, the non-discriminating mind is, we could say, our Buddha nature. Doesn't judge. This is in Christianity, the non-judgmental mind. Don't judge, don't judge. Well, not judging means the discriminating mind. You separate things so you can judge what's good or bad. This is for survival. I mean, the child, there's water out there, and the child says, water, water, non-discrimination. Everything is water. Oh, look. And so he goes to drink the mud puddle, and the mother says, don't drink that. That's bad water. Oh. So he learns not to drink the mud puddle, you see. But he has to learn that. Animals know it instinctively, not to drink dirty water, but anyway, the idea that humans have to, through discrimination, learn what to do and what not to do. The problem is, in our modern world, we have put the awareness, the non-discriminating mind, to sleep. It's in the background. It's like the back of the hospital gown. You can feel the breeze, like, oh, I'm judging here, but what the hell, I can't help it. So the discriminating mind is both useful and not useful. It has two faces. And unless we can suspend the discriminating mind and let the awareness as mind that is non-discriminating shine through, we are trapped in our words and we suffer. So when Buddha says the suffering, he said, is craving for existence, to be something. In order for me to be something, I have to use the discriminating mind that separates me from the rest of the crowd, you see. You got a whole bunch of people. You got the wide angle, they're all the same. They're all in focus. But then the discriminating mind will say, well, let's focus in on that one. That one, boy, she's pretty. She's ugly. You see, to use the discriminating mind or the flashlight, there has to be separation. And then we make value judgments on it. We make a value on it, you see. Why do we separate? Because it's going to be value for me, you see. Now, Zen koans are everywhere. To give you an example, all right, so let's talk about the skull. So this is a koan, a story. Zen koans are little dramas between a monk and a master that are teaching dramas. They teach how to use awareness as, or the non-discriminating mind. They wake it up because we're all asleep in the flashlight mind. We're running around saying, this is good, that's bad. No, that's good, that's bad, that's bad. We get in a fight. Two flashlights fighting, looking at the same thing and seeing a different thing and fighting about it. We get into a group, a flashlight group. So the Republicans would be a flashlight group that sees everything from their viewpoint, and the liberals would be a flashlight group that sees everything from their viewpoint. And now these are like laser fightings in Star Wars, flashlights fighting. No, this is right. No, this is right. No, this is good. This is good. No, wow, wow, wow. It's a good image there. The laser fight is the fighting of flashlight minds who don't see the whole room. They just see what they select to see, the cherry-picking mind, you see. Just the flashlight can only see what it picks to see. If it were going to see the whole situation, it would have to turn itself off and turn on or awaken or arouse the awareness mind. And it's always there. Awareness as is always there, but we put it to sleep and use the flashlight mind because the flashlight mind has become the dominant mind in the modern mind. Other cultures have their flashlight, have their awareness as mind awake. Take Avatar. There's a perfect example. The flashlight mind are the sky people. And for them, everything is an it. Everything is a thing. Everything is an object. And they're all the same. Well, they got a home tree. It's just a tree. Cut it down. They grow another one. But for the Navi, they were seeing everything as the whole. So everything is thou. Everything is sacred. For the sky people, nothing's sacred except their viewpoint. Anyway, so we want to get to the, oh my God, it's a skull. So the Zen story is, there's a hermit who lives in a cave, and a monk is traveling, and he stops by, and the hermit offers him a rest, food and water. Come on in, because it's dark. Maybe have a teeny candle, I don't know. And he gives him a drink and some food and a cup or a bowl, and he drinks the water, and he's satisfied. Wakes in the morning, there's a little more light, and he says, would you like some food and water before you go? Oh yes, thank you. So he gives him the bowl and the food, and he starts to drink it. Oh my God, it's a skull. Ugh. And he throws it down. Oh, how disgusting. And the hermit kicks him out and says, you're no monk. Get out of here. Now, why did the hermit kick the monk out? Now, the monk, of course, is a spiritual aspirant. In other words, he wants to awaken Buddha mind. The monk wants to awaken awareness as. He wants to awaken the non-discriminating mind. He wants to awaken the non-judgmental mind. He wants to awaken his Buddha nature. But he looks at the skull, the bowl, with the flashlight, with the discriminating mind that says, oh, but to see before, when it was dark, it was a bowl. Oh, this was so good. But suddenly it became, when his discriminating mind picked in, oh my God, this is a skull, you see, how disgusting. So this little cone points out the difference between awareness as and awareness of. And it's awareness of mind that causes our suffering. When everything is equal, there's no suffering. Everything is in wide angle. That doesn't mean we shouldn't have discrimination, the flashlight mind, but it should not be the dominant mind. So when he saw when it was dark, the awareness as mind was just everything, the skull was just, thank you, water. But then it became a skull, or named, and the reference was to the memory, oh, skulls are bad, bowl, this is not a good bowl. He discriminated, you see, when it was the same skull. Just at my breakfast table this morning. So we have a little rack on the table where we put stainless steel knives and forks. And we had somebody for dinner last night, and we used our silver. And a couple of silver forks got in the bowl with the stainless steel. So I just reached over and picked a fork, and I was starting to eat. My wife looks at it. She says, you can't tell the difference between silver and stainless steel, can you? Then I looked, and so yeah, that is silver. But when I was just reaching over there, I was just seeing fork. I wasn't looking at, is this fork any good, or that fork the good one? Is this, silver, stainless steel? I wasn't discriminating. I just saw a fork. But she made me, using her flashlight mind, which is very sharp, something, well, that's silver and you didn't see it. You can't tell the difference between silver and stainless steel, can you? Well, I can, but at that point, I wasn't. I assumed they were all forks, you see. So that was basically kind of like, anyway, we use the discriminating mind like a sword sometimes. You can't tell the difference, can you? You're stupid. Laser, lightsaber. Anyway, this is all around us if you look and be interested in looking. That's the problem. We're not really interested in how we know. We're not interested in not how you know, but how I know. We're not interested in how I know, how my mind works, how my mind has different ways of knowing. We're not interested in that. We just want to know what the silver is and what the stainless steel is, and why I can tell the difference and you can't, you see. So the discriminating mind, the flashlight mind, is a way we enhance ourselves. Well, I know and you don't, you see. Or anyway, I hope you get the point here. And it's very obvious in your everyday mind, the workings of these two minds, two ways of knowing, that one has been put to sleep by the modern culture because the science mind is a flashlight mind. Now, the theoretical scientist, and Einstein, may get a glimpse from the awareness as, and he may get a glimpse or an idea or a vision of the whole universe at once, and then his flashlight mind goes in and starts putting taking apart the vision and putting it into a formula, into mathematics or art, you see. But all inventions, all art, all great ideas, an idea for a business is a flash from the awareness as, from the whole. You see the whole in one grasp, in one light, an idea. And if you have an idea that sees the whole, or the situation, the whole situation, you can move the world. You can create a business that generates energy. You can paint the house. You can create a political movement from an idea that comes from a flash of awareness as, because awareness as sees the whole situation, whereas awareness of only sees the divided situation. Awareness of, while necessary, is the conscious mind. Our conscious mind is a flashlight, and it sees everything as this or that, good or bad, or oh my God, it's a skull, or can't you tell the difference between the silver and the stainless steel, you see? In other words, awareness of is a survival mind. It tells the difference between good water and bad water. But at the same time, if we believe it's the only mind, and we can't find the wide angle, we never see the whole situation. All we see are the pieces that we cut from the situation. All we see is the good apples. And to see a good apple, you have to have bad apples. So the flashlight mind comes in pairs of opposites, good and bad, up and down, in and out, right and wrong. You see, it sees everything as two, where awareness as sees everything as one. Now, these are incompatible viewpoints, because you can't see everything as one and see everything as two at the same time. You can't use both minds at the same time because they're incompatible. Now, this is where Zen comes in. So Zen says form, that's the flashlight mind, sees form, and discriminates. So these are good forms, this is good, that's bad, this is good, yada yada. Everything is forms. And every form has its own opposite. Just like this, if you see the hag, you don't see the princess. If you see the princess, you don't see the hag, but they're both the same. You can't separate them. So awareness as and awareness of, the wide angle and the zoom lens are different, but you can't separate them. And this is true with photography. You can buy a lens that gives you a wide angle, zoom out. I had one, I loved it. It's a great lens. Wide angle, you see the whole group, and then you zoom in on one, you see. So you can have both, but you can only do, it's both in the same mind, but you use them accordingly what you need. So if I need a wide angle, I got a wide angle. If I need a narrow focus, I got a narrow focus. But like the hospital gown, the back, the open back is the awareness as. And the front of the gown is awareness of. The front, the foreground, the thing, the object, you see. They both go at the same gown, but you can't see the back with the front. You can't see the whole with the flashlight. And our culture is embedded in using the flashlight because that's what science uses. So we're stuck with the flashlight mind, and we've lost how to use the awareness as. We can't find the awareness as mind. We can't find the whole. We can't see the whole. All we see is the pieces. All we see is the parts, the fragments, the puzzle. Everything is a puzzle. Everything is broken. Everything doesn't have any meaning. The only way a foreground object has any meaning is if it's put in front, if it has a background. The meaning of objects comes from the background, not from the object. So that in order to have meaning, there has to be a relationship between the foreground object that you're looking at, this person or that robin or whatever, to its true background, the whole situation. What we do, you see, is from our viewpoint, which we believe the flashlight sees reality as it is, can't figure out why anyone else doesn't see it. So what I see with my flashlight mind is the background. And so then, whatever I see with my foreground object, I project my own viewpoint behind it to give meaning to the foreground object, so the meaning supports the foreground object, which is my viewpoint. But both of them are my viewpoint. I never really use the awareness as the whole situation. I can't see the whole situation. All I see is the situation that I have green screened behind my flashlight object. You see, when we see the foreground, the flashlight mind is the only way of knowing. We have to have a background to give it meaning, so we project our background on the screen of the mind, so what I select with my mind to look at has meaning from my own viewpoint. And that's not the total situation, because in the total situation, in the awareness as, there is no viewpoint. Everything is as it is. There is no cherry picking. There is no viewpoint. Everything is as it is. We see reality directly with no filter of the flashlight. You can work with this in your everyday mind. You can work with this in your household, in little things like, oh, you can't tell the difference between silver and stainless steel, can you? Or, oh my God, it's a skull. For just a moment ago, it was a bowl with water. Thanks for dropping in. Hope I see you tomorrow.